Okay, so the next part is quadratic inequalities. So, a quadratic inequality is an equality of the form of ax squared plus bx plus c more than 0. Okay, so we have a form of ax squared plus bx plus c on the one side lah, where a, b and c are real number which a must not equal to 0. Why? Because we should have a coefficient for x squared lah, baru itu nama dia quadratic. The inequality symbol can be less than or equal to, or more than or equal to may also be used. Quadratic inequality can be solved by using graphical or algebraic approach, but I prefer to use graphical method because it can be seen directly lah, and we can check the careless mistake directly from the sketch. Graphical approach. So the graph of quadratic, so all of you remember how to sketch a graph of quadratic for ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So this expression is sketched and the points where the graph cuts the x-axis, P and Q are noted. What is P and Q? They are the roots of the quadratic. Okay. Okay. So, if you want to sketch the graph, so for a is more than 0, this one, you know, you do this in high school, so it's a positive of coefficient of x squared. It should be a smile graph, right? So this P and Q will be this intersection point with the x-axis. So, if the question we have the ax squared plus bx plus c. If the question want you to find more than, this is our y, right? So y more than 0, so the area we want to find is actually above the x-axis. This is the area where y more than 0. So what is the answer? We should take x less than p, x more than q. But if the question want the less than 0, the inequality here is less than 0. So y less than 0. So this is the area for y less than 0. So the answer should be in between P and Q. So the value of x should be in between P and Q. Okay. How about if the the quadratic expression, we have a less than 0. So the graph should be a sad graph. You tak senyum, you masam. Okay, so for y more than 0, so the quadratic expression is more than 0, we take the top one. So how to write down the answer? So it should be in between lah for this one. Sebab dicakupi oleh graph ini. And then if the y less than 0, so it should be less than p, more than q. Okay, the answer can be written in this form, x less than p or x more than q. Let's do some example. Example 3. Solve the following inequalities by using graphical approach. So we want to try. Okay, for question A. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 5 more than 0. So directly we have 0 on the right side, so we don't have to change anything lah. So what we should do, the next step is to factorize. How we solve the quadratic? We factorize to get to know the roots. So factorize x squared plus 6x plus 5. What will we get? We will have x plus 5, x plus 1. So we will know what is the value of our p and q. So what is our p and q? It should be negative 5 because x equal to negative 5 here, and negative 1. So we should sketch the graph. So make sure we know what is the value of a. What is the value of a? It's a positive 1, right? So it should be a smile graph. Okay? So this is our graph with the value of negative 5, negative 1. So this is our roots. So the question 1 more than 0. So where is more than 0? So it should be above the x-axis. So this is the area. We want this area as the results. So what is the value of x? X should be less than -5. X should be more than -1. So the answer in solution set is x such that x less than -5 or x more than -1. Or if the question asks you to give the answer in interval form, it should be what? Okay, so what is this part? Less than -5. So it will be from -infinity to -5 or -1 to infinity. Okay, 3b. So question 3b, we don't have the form of 0 on the right side. So we have to make sure everything is bring to the left side and left the 0 on the right side. So what we should do for this one, first we expand lah. Sebab tak nampak pun kuadratik sini kan. So we expand, what we have is 3x squared minus 15x less than or equal to 4x minus 6. So we should biarkan kosong di belah kanan. So everything should be moved to the right, to the left side, or we just eliminate minus 4x, eliminate 4x and plus 6. So how to eliminate this side? So we minus 4x plus 6. For this side also we should do that lah, minus 4x plus 6. So what we should get? It will be 3x squared minus 4x minus 15x will be minus 19x and then plus 6 less than or equal to 0. Now we have the form of ax squared plus bx plus c less than or equal to 0. And then the next step, it should be, yes, factorize. So factorize 3x squared minus 19 plus 6 will be 3x minus 1, x minus 6 less than or equal to 0. Okay, so we know what is the value of x here. X equal to 1 over 3, x equal to 6. And then, what is the graph? Is it smile or set? So we have 3 as the coefficient of x squared, so it should be smile lah, positive. So we sketch the graphs, a positive graph, and then we put the value of p and q, which is 1 over 3 and 6. Jangan terbalik ya. The smaller one should be on the left side, bigger one should be on the right side. And then the question asks you to find is less than or equal to 0. Means that we want to find the value below the x-axis. So where is the area? It should be this one. Yes, this blue area. So it's in between 1 over 3 and 6. So the answer in solution set is x such that x in between -1 over 3 and 6 inclusively. Or you can write down in the interval form in, yes, square bracket of -1 over 3, 6, square bracket. Okay. Algebraic approach. So what is algebraic approach? Means that we are using algebra method lah. So the theorem is when a be more than 0, if and only if a is more than 0 and b more than 0. Okay. So we can assume that a multiplied with b is more than 0 if and only if a more than 0, b more than 0. Or it will be a less than 0, b less than 0. So positive multiplied with positive will be positive. Negative multiplied with negative will be positive. This is the theorem we will use. And then the next step is a and b. A multiplied with b will be less than 0, negative, if and only if a more than 0, b less than 0. Or a less than 0, b more than 0. So one of it is positive, one of it is negative. Okay, what we should know this theorem. Okay. Example. So example for A. We want to solve x squared minus 2x minus 15 more than or equal to 0. Now we have 0 on the right side. We can factorize. So factorize x squared minus 2x minus 15. We will get x plus 3 multiplied with x minus 5 more than or equal to 0. So now we know what is the value of P and Q. So we have the first value is negative 3. Another one will be positive 5. So we have these two values. So we didn't sketch the graph. What we should do is to put real number line. So we assume this part is more than or equal to, this part also more than or equal to. Why? We assume everything is positive. The assumption is positive, always positive first. So sketch the real number line. The method we call it as real. Okay. So what is our real number line? So we have this line, right? This is our line. Okay. So we have negative 3 here, 5 here. And then what we should do, after we assume that x plus 3 more than or equal to 0, so x should be more than or equal to negative 3. So we put the set number here. So x is more than or equal to 3. So dense dot here and more than moving to the right. And then for x minus 5 is more than or equal to 0. So x is more than or equal to 0. So starting from 5 and then move to the right. So anywhere that got the line, we put positive. So positive, positive. For this part, it will be negative because we don't have the answer around here. And then for second set also, will be positive around here, more than 5, but negative around these two areas. So what we should do, we just multiply between these two signs. So negative, negative, it will be positive. So that is the theorem. And then positive, negative will be negative. Positive, positive will be positive. Okay? And then how to select the answer? So we see around these inequalities. What we want to do is to find the value of y more than or equal to 0. So means that we want the positive part. So what is the positive one? This one is positive. This one also positive. So the answer, we want that the answer should be, yes, less than negative 3. So this area is x less than or equal to negative 3, or x will be more than or equal to 5. This is the real line method. So I think most of you learn it in high school. Okay, so there's no problem lah sebenarnya. Kalau interval form, the answer should be from negative infinity to negative 3 square bracket or 5 to infinity. Okay. Example 4b. Okay, so continue with the second method of algebraic, which is the table of sign. So this 2x minus 1 multiplied with x plus 3 less than 4x. So we want to solve it. First thing first, make sure the right side will be 0. So move everything and expand and simplify to get the form of ax squared plus bx plus c less than or more than 0 lah. Sama mana. So expand lah semua. So the left side we have 2x squared minus x plus 6x minus 3. So for this one, to eliminate 4x, we should subtract 4x on both sides lah. So what we should get, 2x squared minus x plus 6x will be 5x, minus 4x should be x only. So the answer should be 2x squared, not the answer. The next step is 2x squared plus x minus 3 less than 0. And then the next step, as usual, we factorize to get the value of P and Q. So factorize 2x squared plus x minus 3, directly we get 2x plus 3, x minus 1. So this one is x equal to negative 3 over 2, x equal to 1. So how about the method of table of sign? So we have the value here. Table of sign, what we should do, we should put the value of roots. X negative 3 over 2, x equal to 1. Ascending order. So what we should do, this is a number line, right? So we have to separate this into 3 parts. So the first, the second, the third one. Okay, so this is first, second, and the third one. So we want to check every area of this interval. So this one is area of less than -3/2. This one is in between 3/2 and 1. And this area is more than 1. So we want to check each value lah. Kat sini akan jadi positif ke negatif. Sini jadi positif ke negatif. Macam tu. And then, let's see the table. So this one is roughly my table. So let's see the correct table. So in your exam, you can directly sketch this table. So we have this value of x. What is the value of x? Less than -3/2, in between the two value, and more than 1. Kalau interval form macam ni lah cara tulis dia. And then the next one, we should put 3 columns. 3 rows, sorry. 3 rows here. Why? The first one is the first factor. The second one is the second factor. We want to check each factor in each area. And then the third one should be the multiplication lah, the questions. Okay? So, for this part, for x less than -2, what we can take value is -2. So, -2, check in each factor. -2 masuk dalam ni, 2x plus 3, what we should get? So, -4 plus 3, negative kan? For this part also, we substitute in this form. -2 minus 1. So, -3. So, both will be negative. How about the middle one? So, what value we want to take? In between -3/2 and 1. So, the easiest one is 0. So, substitute 0. This part will be positive. The below one will be negative. Okay, and the last one, we can take value of 2. To substitute 2 on each factor, we get positive for both. So, now applying the theorem. Negative multiply with negative. So, what we should get? So, it should be positive. And the second one, positive multiply with negative. Negative, positive, positive, positive. So, the question is to find the less than. Right? So, less than. Where is the area for less than? So, this is the area of less than. Negative area. So, what is the answer? What is the interval for that part? This one is the answer. So, directly you just write down, bring down the answer, -3/2 less than x less than 1. Okay. Thank you.